guys, welcome back to our podcast, Grim Reading Kings, where we talk about everything and anything spooky and strange. My name is Tamsin, and I'm here with my co-hosts, Sammy and Tom.
Hi.
We upload to our podcast every Monday, and if you want to watch us, we upload every episode to our YouTube channel every Friday. We also have a Patreon where we upload a full, uncut, unedited episode every Monday, and a Facebook page where you can join us in conversation. You can join in on conversations.
Or start your own conversation, get it going.
Throw a picture up there.
Yeah.
All of these are linked in the description, so please do check them out and subscribe. And if you enjoy these stories, please give us a like and a thumbs up. In this series, we are discussing witches. And I am going to take you all through the myths and the history behind witches.
So my name is Tom.
My name is Sammy.
And Tamsin.
Where we talk about anything and everything spooky and strange.
In this series we discuss film curses,
Dark history.
Murder mystery.
local stories,
Chapoke.
Out right now.
That's how you kill someone.
I'm going to do a warning.
actual human skeletons.
Psychopathic tendencies.
The last thing to know is the actual injuries.
Right, let's go again.
So let's get into it.
That's why I chose that background as well, actually, is a witchy one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Same one in the background, dancing.
Changed it, or?
No, it's the same one.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm waiting for time on that.
Yeah. And they got they're doing a thing in the back of the purple light.
Oh, look, they're having a good time
Yeah,
as well.
that's what I was on about.
Yeah,
Sure.
These guys there's always find me in the kitchen at parties.
Yeah.
Cat's like you
Right,
down.
yeah,
It's
find
got
me
a-
with the cat.
Oh, look at the cat shadow.
Yeah, and then you got a cat
Oh,
up in the
yeah.
attic.
See that?
The shadow.
Oh, why has it got a hat?
Yeah.
That's cute. I love that sort of artwork. I'd love to have that just placed around everywhere. Everywhere. I would
Everywhere.
Just everywhere. Oh, that's cute.
The person by themselves, that'd be me.
That's the cook, isn't it? Look, he's stirring a pot.
It's a witch with a cauldron.
Yeah.
Is it a wizard?
It's a yogurt maker.
He's making mozzarella.
Is he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, cheese. I just want
Cheese.
cheese. You mentioned cheese, I'm just off. Like, cheese.
You smell
And a
like
cheese
cheese.
board. Well, weeks ago. Just dream of cheese.
Oh. Just cheesy noodles gets me.
No, not
Oh.
cheese. No, I can't have cheesy noodles.
Mozzarella? Oh my god.
So you're really upsetting me.
Tamsin.
No, not with noodles.
Yeah.
These are noodles, don't go. You can have it with pasta, not with noodles.
Depends on the noodles that you have.
No.
If you have proper spicy, fresh noodle. Oh.
But with cheese, no, you cannot have
Mozzarella,
noodles with cheese.
honestly.
Unless it's like tagliatelle.
And sausage.
Yeah, but noodles are what noodles? Not like a pot noodle, but as in
You know what noodles are?
What shall we sniffing?
Do you put cheese in your stir fry?
No, as in Korean noodles that you get in a pot.
Shin ramen ones.
Yeah, Shin. Like ramen noodles with mozzarella. Oh my god.
No.
You need to sort your shit
I'm
out.
not doing it.
You're
Not doing it. Let's start at the very beginning. How do you define a witch? So I want everyone to close their eyes, unless you're driving or something.
We do not recommend that.
So close your eyes. When I say the word witch, what comes to mind? What image comes to mind? Sammy, what image comes to mind when you think of a witch?
I put a spell on you.
Yeah.
And now you're Bette Midler.
Fair, yeah.
Same. Actually, mine's more like a old school Halloween one, like green witch long nose.
Yeah.
Classic style.
Mm-hmm.
So my guess is, and for you guys, whatever you guess, my guess is a all in black woman, a woman all in black.
Woman in black.
Yeah, that's a better way of putting it. With a pointy tall hat, a broomstick, an animal, probably old, ugly, with a long nose with a wart, maybe even green, or maybe you just see an average person, maybe you just see yourself. But what do people in the past see when they imagine a witch? When they imagined a witch? And how did such a common image of a witch become known to so many? Let me start with the definition of a witch. Worldwide, there seems to be a few definitions as to what a witch is. The oldest and most common used is well over 1,000 years old and claims a witch is a person who practices witchcraft or magic of a maleficent nature to cause harm. This was complex in religion, as a witch would derive their magic from Satan himself, which led to the second definition, that a witch can use their magic for good, they would call them white witches or good witches. They seemed to be more of a herbal nurse of some sort. A much later definition which was used in witch hunts and put the focus onto women, was a feisty or independent woman. So this would mean like a non-married rebel. And as religion developed through time, as did the definition of a witch. The oldest known witch is a tough one to find. The Bible tells of the witch of Endor in the Old Testament. She was known as a medium. It reads in Leviticus 19:31, "Do not turn to mediums or seek out spiritualists, for you will be defiled by them. I am the God."
I am God.
I am the Lord your God. Saul, the first king of Israel, visited her, and in Chronicles 10:13 it reads, "Saul died because he was unfaithful to the Lord. He did not keep the word of the Lord, and even consulted a medium for guidance." In Greek mythology, Hecate was the chief goddess presiding over magic, ghosts, crossroads, and witchcraft. She is most commonly seen with 3 heads or bodies standing back to back. Many reasons are said for this. She could look in all directions from the crossroad at once, or look into the past, present, and future. Some say it represents the stages of womanhood or the phases of the moon. Shakespeare writes of Hecate in Macbeth, which was thought to be performed for the first time in 1606. Hecate is queen of the 3 witches who appear in Act 1 to Macbeth and Banquo, I'm not sure how you pronounce his name, with prophecies. Hecate only appears in Act 3 and 4 and is portrayed as a controlling and somewhat evil figure. In the late Middle Ages, from the 1400s, people questioned how God would let witches exist, and so a popular belief that the devil had been given permission to test the human faith by God spread throughout faiths. If a human would worship Satan, they would be rewarded with power. Not everyone believed this made sense, but it did lead to strong prejudice against a lot of innocent people through the years. The first city-wide European witch hunt began in what's this one? Villais?
Yeah, I would say Velias.
In Switzerland. I'm so sorry, I'm so bad at pronouncing things.
Yeah, that ain't good.
In 1428, and it lasted 8 long years. To be condemned, a person had to have at least 3 neighbours publicly state that they were a witch. The majority of people accused in Switzerland were male peasants. They were tortured until they admitted to using witchcraft given to them by the devil. These forced confessions resulted in the deaths of 367 people, mostly men. The condemned were mostly burnt to death. They would be tied to a ladder and pushed into a pyre, which is like a bunch of leaves and foliage and stuff that would burn really quickly.
Okay, yeah.
God damn.
And in some cases, a bag of gunpowder was tied around their necks to quicken death. A few were beheaded instead of this.
Thank God for that. That's like the worst way.
Much rather just get my head chopped off.
Yeah. Come on, guys, it's fine. Possibly the most famous victim of burning at the stake for witchcraft and heresy was Joan of Arc. However, probably no one actually believed her to be using witchcraft. Instead, they seemed it a convenient way to get rid of her. Joan was captured and subjected to 15 examinations, both public and private, before being found guilty of heresy. It was determined that Joan was a blasphemer against God, and thus she was burnt at the stake in 1431 in Rouen? Rouen? I think that's Rouen.
Yeah, I would say Rouen. I don't know.
Where it is said she died of smoke inhalation before the flames consumed her, which is probably worse. I know that sounds weird, but you said to me once, I think it was after we watched Sweeney Todd, that if you burn, like, you kind of lose your layers of skin that feel pain. So eventually you're just going to burn.
Yeah.
But if you're constantly, like, it's like you're suffocating on smoke.
We're a hot smoke as well.
I prefer to suffocate
Would
because
you?
then you just pass out.
Yeah, that's true.
If you breathe quicker, like again, if you're drowning, just breathe quicker.
Oh, I just
Because then
the
the
thought
quicker-
of not being able to breathe really makes me. I'd rather the flames, I think.
No, I'd rather just breathe really quickly, pass out, and then you won't know any different. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if I ever find myself in a drowning situation, I'm not going to be saved. I'm just going to breathe in water,
You mean
which will make you like cough and then breathe in more, and just do that quickly. Then you pass out really quick.
This is like not really relevant, but it's like underwater. But there's like I can't remember his name now. Some like an animal man of the UK. He's like our Steve Irwin kind of thing, which is really cool.
Oh
But he filming somewhere. I can't remember what it was now. Somewhere in Africa, and they're swimming in this like river, and him and his camera. And he looked down, and saw these big like prints in the bottom of the thing. He's like, "Wow, this is like what the hell? This is like hippo prints." He's like, "If there's a hippo here, this is really bad news." And he looks back at the cameraman. There's just one sat like next to him underwater because they're like insanely vicious, aren't they?
They're so fast as
But they're
well.
not even meat eaters. They're like peaceful. But if you mess with them, they're like, no, I'm not having
Yeah, if they
you.
don't like you, they'll chomp you up and spit you
And
out.
their teeth are crazy. Like they're not sharp.
No, they just compress you.
It's the power of the jaw. Have you seen them eating like watermelons and stuff? Like
It's so satisfying though.
it is.
I love hippos, but it's
But he's like-
shit.
He said like that. Then basically, he was very lucky that the hippo had never seen a human before because he's just curious. So he just like let them carry on. Otherwise, if it would have seen one, he'd been like, "Yep, you're bad, bang."
Yeah, piss off.
Shit, that would have happened so fast. Like they charge so
Oh,
fast. don't
so
they?
fast. Yeah.
So scary.
I think in water they're like light as fuck, so they're like, oh look at you. Yeah, they've just.
Haven't they got pink milk as well?
Yeah.
They have indeed.
Give me some hippo milk.
There's a lake in Australia that's completely pink. I think it's called Lake Hillier.
Isn't that because of the salt?
Is that with the clay and the salt in
Yeah.
it? It's so pretty.
Oh my
I do
God.
like pink, but it's really pretty. In 1626 Germany, a frost hit the land so badly it destroyed almost all people's crops. Having nothing to live on, people petitioned against the local authorities, blaming witches for cursing the land. The Prince Bishop Johann George Fuchs von
George?
Dornham.
I think that's Johann.
Johann
Because of J.
George
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuchs von Dornham.
I think that's Jorge. And I think.
Wait, is that not one? That's not one name.
That is one name.
What?
Say it all again.
What do you mean the teacher?
No,
Hey,
honestly.
you. One look is it about that?
Go on. The Prince.
What was that name?
Johann.
Johann George Fuchs von Dornham.
Jesus.
You think
I
that's
think
right?
that's
Is that-
Dornheim. Because if it's German, then it'll be Heim.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
I am always right.
Johann.
Who's
I
Johann?
can't say it again.
Johann.
Johann George. Wait. What?
Fuchs.
Foch. How do you?
I would say that's Johann George. George. I don't think that's a George because it's not got an E on the end.
I thought it was George because it's. Or is that? Oh, maybe not.
So
I think it's Johann
George Fox von
Dorheim.
Dorheim.
Something like that.
Jesus.
Yeah. that's
Not
quite the
Jesus.
name.
Important person, but sounds good.
Launched an investigation that started the Bamberg witch trials. A woman was named and arrested. She was tortured, stripped down, and publicly viewed in search for a mole or birthmark that was said to be a mark of the devil, and used to feed the witch's familiar. A demon sidekick disguised as a pet, such as a dog or a cat, that would help the witch fulfill her evil deeds. So many people had some sort of blemish on their skin that would count as the mark of the devil, including age spots. Witch hunters assured people that this was a sure way to identify a witch. Another would be to prick them with a pin. If they did not bleed, they were a witch. In some cases, instead of bleeding, they would count as a witch if they did not feel any pain, as in if they did not react to the pinprick. Witch. However, some witch hunters were so corrupt and looking for easy money that they would use rectangle pins that the accused couldn't even feel. Eventually, the accused woman was coerced using these methods and many others into confessing to causing the frost.
Okay, so obviously seeing if you get a reaction.
Mm-hmm.
If people knew this, then and they were actually witches, and like, or if your pain threshold is quite high,
Yeah.
you'd be like, oh, ow.
Yeah, you would. But when it happened for hours or days in a row, there's they couldn't react anymore. Like you wouldn't feel anything. Imagine your whole hand has been pinpricked
Scar tissue,
everywhere,
yeah.
and you're just. And plus, they might be blindfolded and prick them, and if they don't know they're being pricked, they'd be like, "Oh, shit."
Yeah, blindfold.
Yeah.
And I bet they like masked it as well. I bet they like held a pin and like let it slip through their fingers so it didn't like actually go into them. Like, oh look,
They just tricked them into doing it. Whoa.
It's an awful time to be alive.
Yep. Dorothea Flock was accused of using witchcraft by her own husband. However, she managed to escape to Nuremberg, and contact the emperor, who, horrified by the woman's plight, removed the prince bishop from his position of power. This was one of the biggest European witch hunts to ever take place, and of the 1,000 people convicted, 900 people, male and female of all ages, were killed either by being burnt or at the stake or beheaded.
Oh.
Yeah. The last victim to be executed for witchcraft in Europe was Barbara Zdunk. It's literally Z-Dunk, so I don't know if it's a
I like that.
silent Z or it's Zdunk.
Zonk?
Zunk? Yeah.
I think either way we're going to try and pronounce it, we're insulting someone at this
Yeah.
It's always someone to
It's
offend.
Polish, so I don't know how their style of names
I'm not
goes,
too sure.
to be honest.
I imagine it's Zunk.
Zunk, yeah. Let's go with that. The case against her began because of a fire in 1807, which destroyed nearly all of the buildings in Ruskell. Sure.
Damn.
No one could find the culprit, and so quickly suspicion fell on a woman who had for years been suspected of witchcraft. She was arrested and tortured, but no matter what they did to the poor woman, she would not admit to being guilty of anything. After a few years, Barbara Zunk was declared guilty and sentenced to be burned at the stake. And on 21st of August 1811, she was taken to Zubien...
It'll
Oh
be an S, I imagine. So, but like a zoo, like a zoo.
Zubien Isa?
Yeah. Subienka?
Yeah, something like that. In Roselle. There's a hill in Roselle. I'm not even sure I'm saying Roselle right. Where she was burnt for all to see. The last person tried for witchcraft in Europe, however, was Helen Duncan, who claimed to be a medium. This woman is so interesting that I'm not going to go into details about her yet, but we can do a whole story about her in a later date. But she's not going to give anything away because when I read about her, I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. It was just so much about her.
That was sick.
Yeah. The last witch trials in America were the Salem trials, which we will cover in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, bye.
And since no one lived in the Antarctic in the Middle Ages, there were no witches harmed there. And there were no witch executions in Australia. However, in Asia and Africa, there are still many countries that carry a
Legacy?
Legislation?
Legislation.
I'm still not doing it right.
Legislation.
That was legislation.
I say it every day in work.
That's...
Legislation, yeah.
You're saying it weird.
Were you slumming it, Sylvia?
Yeah.
legislation.
Yeah, that's what you're doing. Station.
Shaking.
That's what you're doing.
They do this every year.
Legislation.
Legislation.
Yeah.
Legislation.
Legislation.
Leja. Ja. Say the ja. Leja.
Legislate.
No. Leja. Legislation.
This turned into a tea semi.
Legislation.
Legislation.
So hard.
I know exactly how to say this.
This is why I should proofread it.
I
can't even say it.
This is why I should have proofreader.
Nationality
I can't say it.
Legislation.
Legislation.
You're still not saying it. Need to drop the R bomb.
Oh, no, he's kid. Yourself.
I didn't even. Oh, okay. We're gonna say the subject word.
Yeah.
Okay.
The sublet word. Retard.
Thanks, Tom.
Sorry, no, we'll cut that. That's rude.
Now we'll give him that. Like when I said gay.
Oh my god.
It's like, oh my god, don't be gay. And like, actually, it's because I'm a 90s baby. And
yeah,
that
we were
means...
born in the 90s.
Yeah.
Things are different.
Yeah, have you seen the Eminem, sorry, off topic, Houdini song? The lyrics.
Oh
are
no,
now-
I can't re-answer them now.
Oh, I love that
is it
song.
good?
It's
Okay.
good. It's like his old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, like some shady stuff. So
I am into rap, but I'm not into him anymore. I like his classic stuff, some of his newer stuff.
is yeah.
I haven't listened, so I will.
This one song, yeah, it's good.
Who does he do it with? Or is it just him?
I don't know.
No.
I
Thought he
couldn't
did it with
say.
someone. Cool. Okay. However, in Asia and Africa, there are still many countries that carry a
Legislation.
There are still many countries that carry a legislation. There are still many countries that carry a
legislation
against witchcraft and sorcery, leading to modern day witch trials and executions by lynching, burning, and many other ways. So yeah, I think the most common, there was someone burnt. Oh no, they were beaten for sorcery. They were killed in 2021.
What?
It still happens in a lot of Asian countries, a lot of
fuck
Islamic countries as well. They still have a strong belief in evil magic. So that's where it happened. I believe it was in Palestine that it happened.
Maybe they just needed a reason to kill. Or well, they don't.
It could be an excuse as well.
Yeah.
But it is part of against their laws that they it's a capital crime is witchcraft and sorcery.
Yeah.
And I know they have that in, I think it was before that in South America. They killed a lot of people in 2015.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, so it's still ongoing. Which is a problem.
I just can't imagine being like actually tortured for something that you just definitely didn't do. That'd be the worst. You'd be so angry. Like if your spirit got left behind, that'd be a like vengeful fucking thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We'll go into modern witches. Sammy's going to go into that. But I think in Europe we have a very different view of witches now. They're pretty accepted.
Yeah, we love them.
In Europe, anyway, we're a bit more chill.
Yeah.
Like with anything.
You do you.
Really,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go to the shop, like, you carry on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to do my thing, you do your thing. So.
Yeah. There's a lot of people with, like, modern day witches and, yeah, a lot of healers and stuff. So, yeah, that's more our version of what witches are now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Healers.
So I'm just going to go over the look of a witch. So when we...
If you look closely.
When we imagine what a witch is, we think the black dress, the pointy hat, the broomstick, all of the things I said at the beginning. So the black clothes that we always see are really simple. Black is the colour of the devil. That's why it's used. Simple.
Nice.
The pointy hats are now an iconic statement of the witch. This started in the it started in the witch hunting era, quite late, I think, into it, I guess. Women who were accused were mostly peasants, workers, and they would wear pointy hats to work in the fields or something to keep the sun off their face. So commonly the women that were brought in were wearing the hats. So that is why.
Exhibit A.
The broomstick came from a legend commonly believed during the European witch hunt craze. It was believed that witches would have to travel far at any time to meet with the devil, and so they believed that the devil gave them an oil-like substance that could be rubbed onto an item and cause it to fly so they could ride it. A lot of people thought the items could be something like a chair, a bed, a table, a stick, or a broomstick. But the broomstick became so easy to illustrate that it became commonly drawn, and that's why it became such a big thing.
Quickly, I'm sorry, my so it's off something. What is it off of that they use something to touch? Is it bent up on broomsticks again when she has an oil that she puts in stuff?
It is. Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. I was like, I've heard this before.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before. No, sorry. Okay, I just wanted to
She is a witch.
clarify.
As for bats, the Celtic people thought bats to be a symbol of misfortune and trickery. They believed them to be shapeshifters or ghosts. The discovery of the vampire bat in the early 1800s also added to the symbol of the bat as evil and led to them being seen as a witch's familiar at times. The first depiction of a witch and a cauldron dates back to the late 1400s and shows two witches sacrificing a snake and a cockerel. Also in Celtic mythology, cauldrons were given magical properties such as wealth and fertility. Since white witches were thought to make potions, the cauldron seemed to go hand in hand with them. A short movie called The Witch was released in 1906. This portrayed the witch as an old lady with a long dress and cape and a tall pointy hat. The green skin was first seen in The Wizard of Oz by Margaret Hamilton as the Wicked Witch of the West, also dressed in a long black dress and a pointy black hat, flying a broomstick with a long nose with a wart on the end. These images lead to the common ones we still have today. However, modern witches are not about doom and gloom. This was made clearer also, and this will be made clearer in the next couple of weeks when Sammy does her story. Yours is very gloom and doom still, so it's just
Gloom and doom.
yeah, of witches.
Mm.
But imagine you lived in the Middle Ages. Would you have been burnt at the stake? I know I would. And perhaps if you take anything from the story, it's the image of a witch, of the witch people imagine. No longer a supernatural creature that comes out comes out at night to suck the souls from people while they sleep, but a peasant who had no one to take their side. A woman who refused to marry, a man who didn't fit in, or a child who got the blame for everything. Or maybe when we imagine a witch now, we will think of the healers. However we imagine a witch, I hope the history behind them is all the more clear for you. Thank you for listening.
Yay! That was good.
That was good. I like
Cool.
that. I always say that every time. I like that. Thank you. I like everything. That is good.
That's such a true thing. If you like time travel back to like the Middle Ages, 100% I'll be killed so quick.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't think I would have because I'm too scared and too cautious.
Yeah, but you'd
You
act
would.
strange, wouldn't you? You'd act
If you were
weirder.
30 and are married, yeah.
Yeah, you're,
Oh yeah,
You're right.
definitely. Oh yeah, obviously.
It's obviously, his fault.
yeah.
Plus,
No, but it's not his fault. I'm a woman. It's my fault.
yeah, but
That's true.
Yeah, but he would have had to ask you to marry. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like.
But also, if you could just be like, yeah, she's a witch, which he would definitely do
Oh, he
to
would.
get rid of you.
Yeah.
If I like the amount of times I piss you off in a day.
Yeah.
Yeah, just once I walk out of the house, see the wrong person, like, magistrate, she's a witch.
Yeah, this is what Rich would do to me. This is
Yeah.
how we would get it.
Yeah.
I always wondered that, like, time traveling back to her, how would you act? Like, you couldn't be like us now, be like,
No.
it'd be so weird to try and fit into, like, the way everyone else acts.
No.
And also, I think everyone would keep to their business and like keep their heads down, and carry on. But you would be there like.
Too nosy. What's going on? Shall we be burnt?
Tamsin got caught looking out our window earlier.
Oh,
Our neighbour.
The neighbour looked. I was like moved the
Blinds.
blinds out of the way so I could have a good look. He was just stood there for ages. And he just turned and looked at me, and I like moved them and then like ran away. And it was so obvious that I was staring at him.
I'm so glad we're not very similar anymore. Because otherwise he's going to be like, why is Sammy looking at me like that? That's so fucking
Yeah,
weird.
that's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, something I'd like to add, you know the thing about the brooms? Have you
Yeah.
watched when is it Jane Goodman or Gold? Oh man, Jonathan Ross's wife.
Oh, I can't remember her
Oh,
name, but I
yeah.
know who you mean, yeah.
She goes to Boss Castle and like, she does like a witchy episode. And
Ooh.
there are some witches used to actually essentially put a dildo on the broom to hold you on there better. Like the originals had that on it.
I mean, that's practical.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want to slide off?
Exactly.
Or just put something to put your feet in. But
Yeah, you could just cradle something nice and just
Some
strap.
of them do have the little hooks, don't they, to hold your feet.
Yeah.
But
Well, the Nimbus 2000 does, I think.
that's right. You're
So-
not wrong.
I wouldn't imagine any of those witches. If someone said a witch is after me, I saw like Hermione Granger, I wouldn't be that threatened. Until I realised she's sick at spells and I'm dead anyway. Literally. So next time we got Sammy's modern witches to listen to. That'd be quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's more about religion, I suppose, my one, but you'll hear all about that next week.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Do all the things. Do them now.
The intro.
We hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next week. Or you'll hear us next week.
Or both.
Sammy story.
For my story. Woo! Yay! Bye.
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 Shush, shush, Shelby.